Mike J, Michael J. Phillip, Negro Spiritual, Mike Talk a lot.
And it's your man Keith Laporte, aka Mr. Moscato, aka the greatest man walking the face of this earth.
And I'm Trooper Joe, and I'm here to help keep it real for you.
This is Nate Peter Ghost, Rock King X, Tuka Kente, One Foot All, and this is the 91.3 WCW.
Voice of the Voices, when we talk about
Sports,
politics,
religions.
sex, entertainment, you name it, we talk about it.
We're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it. Now talk about
Sweep the streets I used to own.
I used to rule the world. Something, 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 something. What's going on, everybody? Happy 4th of July. Happy birthday, USA. This is Voice of the Voiceless. You can tell Voice of the Voiceless is changing, true, because I don't know if anyone would ever say, or the old members would ever say, happy birthday to America, but nevertheless, here we are. This is your boy, Truth It, here to address any and all things when it's time to, and it's time to, and
this is Trooper Joe, and I'm here, yes, to help keep it real for you.
well,
On the 4th of July.
yes, 4th of July, happy birthday, happy birthday.
Yeah.
So, Troop, what I need you to do is some explaining for me. You got some explaining to do. Yes.
Explain it.
Yes, explain to me how, with all the racism,
explain.
all the slavery, and everything that happened in this country, how are we supposed to say, how is me as a black person supposed to say happy birthday to the United States of America? Yes, I am a black person.
Yay, say happy birthday.
Okay, so that's how we say it?
We say happy birthday.
How
The Declaration of Independence and the birth of America wasn't about slavery. It was
Okay.
about freedom from British rule. And you know that's where a lot of people make their mistake. You know, after that you can just follow a train of history and get stuck right there in the slavery type of thing. But because I got my glasses and because I got my book, that's right, folks, the Declaration of Independence.
And you got your American flag too, don't
And
forget
I
that.
got my flag right here. Yeah, I got a flag.
Okay.
Now, but you know the part that everybody knows about the Declaration of Independence is the second paragraph. Yeah? Because that's the one they like, you know, to talk about, because that's the one that they can find anything they want out of it for victimization, or they can find anything they want out of it for freedoms. But it's the first paragraph that really sets the tone for the birth of the United States of America. Let me read that first paragraph to you. It said, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinion of mankind requires that they should declare the cause which they impel them to be to the separation. Then here's the second one. Everybody know this one. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with the certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuits of happiness. See, the second one, this is the one that everybody likes to talk about, especially the African American, because they say, well, they're not talking about me, the African American, I'm not in there. But you're in there, just like everybody else that's going to be in there that becomes an American, because it's the first one that sets the tone for the birth. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another. They were being the pioneer population, or whatever you want to call them, the first peoples, Western people over here in America. They were being held hostage by the English people. They were still under English rule. They were still under everything that was in. They had no taxation. They had no rights whatsoever. And that's what they were talking about with the Declaration of Independence. That's how it started. And it became a doctrine that is still in use today. Black people have the same rights as everybody else in the country. And if you don't like what's happening, just like I said, when it becomes necessary, take it on yourself. Get together, but you got to get together and you got to form something that's going to be able to change the way that you are existing in today's world. And I'm not talking about the way they did it, the colonial upheaval, and they had a war against the British, you know, and won. And folks, yes, black people were there. Everybody knows Crispus Attucks was the first person to die in the Boston Massacre. Little people know that the person at Bunker Hill who shot the colonel, I believe his rank was colonel, that was leading the charge up Bunker Hill, wherever, you know, the phrase where they said, "I hold your fire till you see the whites of their eyes." They don't know, I think his name was Samuel Poole or something to that effect. He was a black guy. And they don't know that everybody sees Prince in the boat with George Washington, you know, crossing the Delaware, but they didn't know there was a whole Ethiopian contingency behind him. You know, it was like African Americans fought for, or blacks, whatever you call yourself, they fought for the freedoms and independence of this country. The Declaration of Independence is not about the Civil War. The Declaration of Independence is about the gaining of independence from a country that was holding this country back and down. Now what happened after we gained their freedom, that's a whole nother part of history, and that's part of history that we should celebrate at different points in time. But the birth of the America and the rights and freedoms to do and live our lives the way we choose our lives, that should be honored today, right now with the Declaration of Independence and on July 4th. And this is something that I think should be more addressed in school and not just the way they have it there, because blacks played a very important part in the development of this country at the beginning, not all the way right to today.
So true. I think that what black people do when we, and I'm guilty of doing this often, when we say, you know, forget everything about this country enslaved us, stole our, we have no cultural history, we have no nothing, why would I celebrate the birth of this country? That's kind of like throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah.
There is some things, there are some things redeemable about this country. Number one, it's the greatest country in the world still.
Yeah.
I remember I had a conversation with this African dude. And this African dude, I told him, you know, like, I'm tired of this country, I want to get out of here. He said, "Oh, you're going to leave this country. This is the greatest country in the world. I've been everywhere worldwide. There's no country better than this country, the United States of America. I kiss the grass, I kiss the ground. This country is so great. The opportunities that you have, you should never leave a country like this." And I mean, he was dead serious when he was telling me. He loves everything about this country.
Yeah, because he comes from a place that really seen what it's like to not have any freedoms. Really seen what it's like that. You don't go into the supermarket down there and walk down the meat aisle for about 2 minutes. Because you got so much variety to choose from. You got more freedoms over here. The little freedoms that we take for granted that we don't even see. You got the freedom in this country to work and spend all your money on food if you want to. You can do that. You can't do that in other countries and stuff. You can go to work, but you're not making enough to be able to spend your money on food. And they don't have the same amount of food. They don't have the same amount of clothing. Granted, some other countries do, but they have a culture that is unique to them. African Americans' culture, you know, it's founded in slavery, and then it got stuck in slavery.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. The people didn't take and interwove the Reconstruction period. They didn't. The Great Migration, the industrial age. They didn't bring that into the development of the African American country, our culture. And you had to develop the culture because the African American didn't exist.
Yep.
You know, he was brought over here, not of his choosing, but when he was over here, he started to develop his own culture because there was no culture. It wasn't like he had an Irish culture. It wasn't brought over here and came over here from Ireland as a worker or something like that. Or an Italian culture. We came over here as an Italian, as a worker, and to try to make their fortune. They brought their culture with them. African Americans didn't have that.
Right.
They have a connection to Africa that's based on their lineage way back in the day, but that connection also goes to the Caribbean. You know, because that's where most of the slaves that came from Africa went to the Caribbean, and then they were brought over into the United States during the Louisiana Purchase.
Yep.
When cotton happened, you know? And, you know, a little funny thing about cotton, no, it ain't funny, but it's kind of entertaining. You know, one of the things that made slavery such a big issue in the United States, everybody know that, is cotton.
Yep.
One of the things that made cotton one of the biggest industries in the United States was the sewing machine.
Right.
Prior to the sewing machine, women had to stay at home. They didn't have to, but that's what they did. Their sewing and their working. They stayed at home and they had to sew by hand
Mm-hmm.
with the needle and the thread.
Yep.
and putting in labor intensive, long hours. Women wasn't able to do anything.
Couldn't produce.
Couldn't produce.
Yeah.
And cotton wasn't as important. It was important for making the clothing, but they weren't making clothing at a big factory rate like they did after the sewing machine was made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now they just line it up. They just whipping out suits, whipping out. They were whipping out so much clothing that they had to invent closets.
Right. Yep.
Didn't even have closets. They had dowels on the wall where you hung up the suit. Had to invent closets because they were whipping out so much clothing. So the sewing machine, the cotton, and all created the Louisiana Purchase so that this country could have more slaves.
Right.
You know? And what happened too was the sad part that happened was slavery on the international thing ended in 1805. Or was it 1809? I forget which one.
Right. And so true. What I think the main question to whether you recognize or celebrate the 4th of July has to do with one thing for black people. Do you believe that we are a free nation today?
Oh yeah, that's a great question.
Because Frederick Douglass' speech, what to the slave is the 4th of July? He talked about how the 4th of July is a day of celebration for whites, but it's still a day of mourning for slaves and former slaves like yourself, even former slaves, because they were reminded of the unfulfilled promise of equal liberty for all the Declaration of Independence. So the question is, do we have equal liberty for all of the Declaration of Independence now? I, for one, think we do.
I think we do too. Frederick Douglass lived many, many years ago, folks.
Yep.
Some of the cultural developments hadn't been in place yet. They were just starting. Like I said, the African American culture was in its infancy.
Yep.
You know, beyond infancy, you know.
Right.
It was in the womb during the Civil War. Then it was born.
Yep.
And, you know, when Frederick Douglass some years later started, you know, he was talking these things, it was still a memory for people.
Yep, it was.
And that that's a hard thing to get around. Slavery's not a memory for anyone now.
Right. Racism is still real.
Racism.
White supremacy is still real, even though you don't really agree with it.
I don't get
White
that.
supremacy, you know what white supremacy is? It's just that we all have the same liberties, right?
Yeah,
But
freedom.
they can take advantage of them more because they are in control. That's what it is.
I can't really argue because it's so easy to disprove the argument that I would put forth. But white supremacy,
Mhm.
if I'm looking at it from this across the street this way, I can see that there are more people in the top 1% who
Mhm.
have money and control the things that's going, the commerce of the United States, and they control the powers of the United States, and they're white. I
Right.
give them that. But that's money, economics, and power and stuff. And then that's the 1%.
Mhm.
And then all these other white people and all these black people, as far as I can see, you're all in the same boat.
Right. Right. So the next
No.
question would be on what if you should celebrate the 4th of July or not is there any other nation in the world where you would be as free or even more free than in the United States of America? To that answer, maybe I need to travel the world more. I say no.
I would say no too. I haven't been to England, and that's the only one that really comes to mind about some freedoms. But it's a different walk of freedom.
Mhm.
I think the English freedom, the English are more stoic and more. They wear rigid kind of iron underwear. They're really rigid.
Okay.
You know, and we have that here. We have some of the way that they approach living and stuff like that on
Mhm.
high, well, all snooty and their nose in the air about their achievements, and they got all these titles and sir and knights and all these things like that. And we have those here in the United States, PhDs,
Yep.
doctors, physicians, lawyers. Everybody throws a title all over
Mhm.
themselves, you know. And I think we get that from England, but England, it makes it as though they don't. I don't believe they take care of their people as well as we do over here
Right.
in the United States. To be poor in England, I don't think the people from the United States would even like it to be poor in England, which
Wow.
I think would be the closest to the United States. I don't think they would enjoy that, not at all.
Well, that's the other question. In July 4th, 1854, William, like that name, William Lloyd Garrison
Yes,
celebrated Independence Day at a rally in Framingham, Massachusetts by publicly burning a copy of the U.S. Constitution. On the contrast to that, they talked about Frederick Douglass, on how Frederick Douglass' views, as he got older, kind of softened. Which makes sense because my views as I'm getting older are kind of softening, even though I still need to get a lot older because there's a lot more softening that needs to happen. So I still hold America responsible for racism, no excuses. Still hold them
yeah.
responsible for it. Still have a problem with it. I just don't think today is the day to really celebrate it.
No.
I think Juneteenth is the day when we talk about it. And there's the Civil
Do
War.
something about it.
Right. Yeah. Right. The Civil War. But yeah, to say that we are the most freest nation in the world, it's hard to disagree with it.
It is hard to disagree. You got free. We have so much freedom that we're free to live the world's most liberal, uninformed, uneducated, anything you want life in existence. You can live it. You can be nothing if you want to be in this world.
Right.
You know, and still survive in this country. That's amazing. You know? You can't do that in other places. You want to be nothing, you're dead. Dig a hole, jump in it, because you're going to die, because nobody cares. You want to be nothing in this country like that, you can do that and just still survive.
Right.
You know, and survive in some other countries like, wow, you're doing well.
Yep.
You know, and that's amazing. That's freedom. That's freedom. You don't have to be successful in this country. You know, all you have to do is you have to obey the rules of God and nature. That's what it says in there. You got to obey those rules.
And I think obeying the laws of nature should not go too far, True. I know we're talking about the 4th of July and Declaration of Independence, and we can get back to that. But on a quick side note, I came across an article that the aroma of marijuana wafts over Washington everywhere, all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
Do you think we're getting too free?
Too free? I don't think we could ever get too free, but I think that by trying to make everybody high.
I disagree with you. I do think there's such a thing as too free, because if too free, then you have the purge.
The purge.
Yeah, you see, when there has to be some sort of order.
Yeah.
There has to be some sort of civility. Yes, checks and balances, civility. That's why I don't despise police like everybody despises.
Oh.
I hate the bad ones. I despise the bad ones, but I still think there's a place for them.
Yeah.
And
I think there's a place for police myself too, but I think the police of today are not the police of yesteryear.
At all.
And I think the police of today are not trained well enough to be actual police.
yeah, and it's because they're being. It's because of the bad apples that spoil the bunch.
Yeah.
You know why police are so afraid of black people? Because black people are so afraid of police, and some of them might want to protect themselves because those bad apples, what you see on the internet, what you see on TV, of them getting killed unjustly and everything, puts fear in you. Even me, when a police officer gets behind me, my hands freeze to the steering wheel and I get nervous because I don't know what's going to happen. You never know if you could be that one that's dealing with an officer who's innately afraid of you or who's having a bad day and something happens to you.
I don't know. On the highway, I see a police officer. I drive in the fast lane all the time, and if he's coming up in the fast lane, I pull over.
Yeah, me too.
Let him by, then I pull right in by.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah, me too. I definitely do that when I'm driving, but at the same time, that fear, I'll get over into the middle lane and then let him get ways down a little bit before I get over. I ain't just gonna jump right behind him and get on his tail. No.
I'll jump behind him and do 80 with him.
No, you go ahead, Troop.
Come on, dude, let's roll.
I like life. I don't know. I can't. But see, but those are fears that we shouldn't have.
You know, there's no need to fear. We can't be so what is that word? I can't even think of the
compelled.
word. No, complacent like.
Oh, okay.
That we're not cautious. But there's no need in this country to have any real fears of anything that's supposed to be in place to protect you. You can be cautious, you know, and non-trusting of all kinds of people, not automatically just trusting. Like I said, I don't think the police are trained well enough to be having such firepower as they have and such power over people as they have. I think it's out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they know that they can do this because they believe that they're protected by government. And they're not really protected by government. They're well, in a sense they are. They had a policing type of thing that went on. That I won't go there. That was in Alabama after the Civil War.
Yeah, right. So see, another reason why we need some policing, because listen, straight up, my people, we don't know how to act. We do not know how to act. The shooting in Alabama, that where 20, I think it was 7 people were injured. Oh, at a rap concert, True.
Crazy. It's like, let's have fun. Okay, fun's over.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I really hate them. Why you really hate them? Because they live on 6th Street. I live on 5th Street. So let's shoot it out here at the rap place.
Right.
What's up with that?
True. The last time I went out to a club was during a rap battle.
Uh-huh.
And at this rap battle, one guy was talking while the other guy was standing next to him, and he was in his face and, you know, talking crazy. The guy, he got a little too close. So the guy just kind of like put his hands up to kind of push him back just a little bit. Not to shove, there was no shoving or anything. He just started to push him back a little bit, and the guy swung and hit him right in the eye. And I'm like, okay, this is happening. And so what I did was, when I saw the guy was bleeding, I went to go get a napkin or something from the bar. went over there to the napkin to the bar. The group of guys who came with the guy that hit him were standing there, and they had a big Crocodile Dundee knife on them. Yeah, they had a huge. I was like, how did he get in here with this knife?
Yeah.
So they were like, anybody comes near us, we're stabbing you. And I was like, I can't. This is why I don't go out, because when you go out, dumb stuff like this happens.
Yeah, and that's all that is.
Give them alcohol, need
Smoke
to
'em up.
sleep, smoke weed, just high on weed, and they just act a fool, act nuts. True, I don't know. I can't do it.
Yeah, that's you know that's you got the freedom, like I say, to be stupid and ruin things for yourself, because now it'll be hard to get a license to be able to have the concerts and stuff like that. And it's, even though it sounds like a lot of people, what is that, Alabama?
Yep.
Yeah, you know that we get.
No, I'm sorry, Arkansas, not
Arkansas,
Alabama.
yeah.
Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah, that you know. That's just ruins you for a whole lot of people in the rest of the country. You know, somebody wants to put on an event like this, the next thing the people say, you know, well, here's how much insurance you're going to have coverage for this year.
Mhm.
Property damage, liabilities for injury, all kinds of fire, all kinds of silly little insurances that in case you spill red wine on my white rug. Well, I mean, who knows what it's going to be? So they're going to have all these kind of insurances, and it's like, how you going to put on an event then? Now you got to pay, you got to charge all these extra monies to cover all this insurance. So you're actually ruining all these things for yourself simply because you don't want to, you can't allow yourself to have fun.
Right.
You know, you're supposed to be going there having a ball, man. You're supposed to be, yeah, this is cool. I like this, my music. This is what I like. This is how we roll. And then the next thing, yeah, this is how you roll, and everybody starts shooting. Crazy.
Yep.
That's just stupid.
You wanna know what's even the dumbest part about it was, true, this particular story,
Yeah.
was the morning after. The shooting happened that night, of course, like 2 in the morning or
Yeah.
whatever. And so, you know, the police came, they cleared it up, closed the building down, that's it. The next day, the rapper who had the concert, who hosted the concert, showed up to the location where the owners were.
Uh-huh.
And the police got called on him because he assaulted someone, and then when they came and arrested him, he had guns on him. How do you go back to the scene of a shooting less than 24 hours with guns? Like, as if he didn't have enough from 27 people being injured from the shootings before.
Maybe listen too much to his own words. I don't know what it is. That's stupid.
Yep.
That's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. And then if, you know, somebody wants to identify with a person like that, I gotta say, you're stupid too, because that's a dumb thing to do.
Right.
You know? So if you want to emulate that, it's like, really?
Right. And that's the things that we have to going on. But shoot, so back to the 4th of July. Back to Independence Day.
Independence Day.
We cannot try to worry about slavery on this day.
No,
It's just not.
No, because it's not about slavery. It's not about the slavery that grows in the United States.
Nothing to do with slaves.
After the country gains its independence. It's not about that. You know?
Nothing at all to do with slaves.
No, it's about the freedom, getting your freedom from the English tyranny. I mean, they didn't have the rights to do anything. They were getting taxed outrageously and stuff.
Yep.
But it wasn't just white people. There were black people there too. Not a whole herd of black people, a whole gang of black people. There were black people getting taxed too. You know, so it was like the country was trying to develop itself. It was trying to grow and become something.
Right. And you have the answer to this question.
Kill them. No, stone them.
No, stone them, yes. Every slave owner who owned slaves, stone them. No, but the question is, at what point did slavery really come to the United States?
Yeah. With cotton and Louisiana Purchase.
Louisiana Purchase.
And the onset of the sewing machine.
Yep.
Folks, the sewing machine, as far as I'm concerned, it's a little silly, but the sewing machine is something that turned the whole makeup of this country around. Not only did it allow for women to be able to make the clothing for themselves and their family at a faster rate, it also, this is just for women, took them out the house. They had time now. They had time, folks, on their heads. They never had that on their heads before. They were always doing something. They weren't cooking, they were sewing. When the sewing machine come, they were cooking. Yeah, they put it in the boiler, it boil away. I got all this time. I don't have to sew no more. I can shoo right there. I can go to the store and buy clothing. Women were liberated from being locked up in their houses and just, you know, sewing clothes and taking care of babies and stuff. They gained the rights to go out there and fight for all the rights and freedoms that they wanted.
Yep.
And this all came about all at the same time with the sewing machine, and then that brought in slavery, and the women were getting free, and the women, they were all united together. I mean, there was just a whole bunch of great entertaining type of things going on at the same
And
time.
the country's been going downhill ever since. I'm not saying it. I'm just.
I think it was great. I think it was great that it got the women out the house. I think it was. I really do think it was. There was no place for them to go at first. He's like, yeah, okay, woman, yeah, okay. I'm going out to the South 40, you know, check on the herd. You know, you coming? Is you crazy?
Yeah.
You know, they weren't ready to be cowboys and cowboys. And folks, cowboys are not what you see in the movies. Cowboys were black.
Really?
For the most part, how many white folks, if you do a poll right now, any white folks you want to know say, all right, white folks, who wants to ride behind 1,000 of these stinking cows pooping and stomping dust all over the place? I don't think you'll get one hand raised, but you had all these slaves and stuff like that, so they said, here, you ride behind all these cows and make sure they stay in line and don't lose any.
Okay. See, we're learning more and more about Troop from Troop today. The Louisiana Purchase is winning the downfall of America again.
For slaves, for African Americans, but it also was where they started to unite too. They started to interact more closely with each other, and they started to formulate. It takes a long time to formulate and build, you know.
Yes.
And this is they started then. I don't like this, you know. Then they started to say enough of this stuff.
Now, I would be. Speaking of slavery, I would be a ideal slave.
Ideal.
I would be the perfect. Well, I'd be too lazy for them. I'd work too slow, but they would still at least appreciate me. Not fighting back. Because all it would take is one lash. Wapow! Oh man, what do you want me to do? You want to pick all this cotton? Well, I'll do this and that lot over there too. But you, Troop, you wouldn't be able to be one.
Nah, they hit me up going out. But you coming with me and as many as I can take before you shoot me dead. You know, it's like.
But that's the problem. You don't have a gun. They have a gun to shoot you dead immediately.
They only got that gun as long as I can't get at it. But yeah, that's just me. My makeup is I can't go like that. You know, it's not that I'm doing it for any other reason and stuff other than you don't hurt me. I really don't care.
Yeah.
But I'd be a terrible slave. I'm not very good at taking orders. I'm not very good at things like that.
Oh, I would be up in there talking about, Master, you like some iced tea? While I'm picking this cotton, I'll pick cotton and get your iced tea at the same time, Master. I'll go pick the lemon so you can have lemon in your iced tea, Master.
Get the mint julep.
Yeah, whatever you want, Master, I'll be there.
You got the gout? Just put your feet up on me there, because you got the gout.
Now, Master, you ain't hear it from me, but Trooper Joe said he wasn't going to listen to you when you told him what to do. I suggest you go talk to Trooper Joe and straighten him out. Bring a gun, because he said he ain't going to go out unless you have one.
Oh yeah, I'd be trying to escape every day.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Not gonna happen. You know.
So,
not even gonna happen.
Right. So, Troop, in other news, North Korea fired another missile.
Of course they did. That's
Now,
what North Korea does.
again, you keep saying that it's not going to be started by Donald Trump. I'm telling you, Donald Trump is starting our next war, and it's going to happen sooner than later.
But not in Korea, not in North Korea. It's not going to happen in North Korea.
I think it might happen in North Korea, or Syria, or with Russia. You don't think it's going to be with?
I think it's going to happen over there in that part of the world, the Middle East and stuff, and I think it's going to be started by Israel.
Right, right. So here's one of the things that just happened in the wake of North Korea firing another missile, another test missile. President Trump tweeted on Monday, "North Korea has just launched another missile. Does this guy have anything better to do with his life?" Now, the leader of the free world,
He's crazy.
the #1 man of that American flag you have waving right over you, Troop,
Glad.
your American flag, the #1 man asked on Twitter, "Does this man have anything better to do with his time?" Is that the most ironic, poetic justice you ever seen in your life, Troop?
He's crazy.
He is crazy.
I have no doubts in my mind that Donald Trump is totally out of his mind. He's a good businessman. He's a great negotiator, but this boy lives in his own fantasy world, John.
Right. And he tweets this on the 4th of July, Troop.
Yeah.
He did not tweet this yesterday
No.
or wait until tomorrow. He waited until the 4th of July to tweet this. And another person in response to that says, "Do you have anything better to do than egging on World War III on Twitter, celebrating USA's birthday, or working in the Situation Room instead of being on Twitter?" True, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. I'm telling you, I think he's that unstable to where we talked about this the other day too. Where you think he's, what was that word? It was a word that we used. Well, it's not unstable, erratic.
He's erratic.
Yeah, you said you don't think he's erratic.
No.
Why do you not think that Donald Trump is
I think
erratic?
he's consistent, but I don't think he's normal.
True,
But he is consistent.
tweeting something like that is erratic, no?
No, I thought about more and more. The social media today now is Twitter.
Yeah. Facebook, Twitter, yeah.
That's where it is. He's going to use whatever is the social media of today. That's what to me at this from thinking that's what you do. Presidents back in the other days, they did whistle stops with trains and stuff like that, and they do long 2-hour speeches and this is how they would show the people what was on their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Today he doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to go out there and be among the people for 2 hours and say, he can tweet and hit all the peoples that he wants. And I think he's using it to his advantage to let the people know what's going on. Part of the problem is some of the stuff that goes on in his head just isn't rational.
At all.
But that's neither here nor there on the use of Twitter as a platform for getting out his ideas and his personalities to the people and letting the people know what he's doing. So I think he's using it to the best of his ability. But like I say, he's not rational.
So do you think the next president, and do you think presidents from now on will be, this is a new era of the Twitter use?
I think it's a new era of the Twitter use. And I mean, what's his name? Franklin Delano Roosevelt used to have the fireside chats and stuff like that, where he would go on the radio and he would tell the people what's going on.
John F. Kennedy had the television. The dawn of the television was what helped him get. President Barack Obama got elected by Twitter and by social media.
Yeah.
The Yes We Can was a firestorm all over social media.
Yeah, exactly.
So
this is the tool of today. I think the only thing that's going to happen, the tool's going to get more sophisticated, and it'll be visual and be more live and stuff like that. And he'll still be using the Twitters like that, but there'll be more video type of twitting and stuff like that. But that's the technology, and he's going to use it. But again, like I say, he ain't rational.
No, he's not
Yeah.
rational at all.
No.
The U.S. just debuted a U.S. Navy warship, a new one. I think Donald Trump would say, "Hey, we could try that on North Korea." I can see him doing that. Let's see how good this thing is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But why do you think that North Korea hates the U.S. so much?
Because North Korea's they've been stymied by the U.S. We still get guns trained on North Korea. The separation between North Korea and South Korea. We just put in a big missile defense system for South Korea over there, and North Korea. We say, well, they got China on this side. They got China on this side. They're a little itty bitty country they're like a little dog that just keeps its mouth going all the time.
Right.
Are they dangerous? Dangerous as hell for people like South Korea and Japan and stuff.
But not really for the U.S.
Not
According to them, they have a missile that can reach the U.S. now, so they might be.
Like I said, just like a little dog.
Yep.
You know, I'll bite you in your big toe.
Right.
Yeah, and that's how I see North Korea. But now for World War III, I see it coming out of other areas, Syria, and all those places over there. Because there's oil over there. There's oil over there, and there's drugs over there.
Mm-hmm.
North Korea ain't doing nothing in the oil field. They ain't doing anything with drugs. They ain't doing anything with real industries. They're not doing much of anything on the world kind of level like that.
Right.
Syria got all kinds of stuff over there in there.
Mm-hmm.
Russia wants it. Russia wants to have that control over there. Yeah, and we want to have that control over there. And Israel wants to have control of everything over there. You know, so that's why I keep thinking Israel's going to be the guy.
The one that starts it off.
Actually starts that.
No, maybe it's just because they're not in the media enough. I don't see it. I just don't see. Maybe I don't see enough about what's going on in Israel. Like I know right now they're over there taking more and more land.
Yeah.
They're building more and more real estate on that land. Very American-esque.
Yeah, the guy from New York and Netanyahu, the two that started it 20-something years ago.
Yep.
Nobody said anything.
Nope. So they're the ones that are out there doing all this stuff now, and we don't have any. But you know, the media won't cover it.
No.
So I don't hear. So that's why I don't think I don't hear the backlash. Or I don't hear. Like I hear about North Korea against America
All the time.
I don't hear who is against Israel like that for Israel to start a war. So who is if you could pick another country out there to be the North Korea to Israel, what country would that be?
Everyone over there.
Iran,
Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, all those, Egypt, all those countries over there. They don't particularly like it, but you know, Israel got a big army. Everybody has to go do some kind of either civil defense thing, or they have to be part of the military for a couple of years and stuff. So they got a big army. They got a big culture, a huge culture based upon religious doctrine and stuff. So they're very united and in this way. So they back up each other all the time.
Right.
Well, and at least it appears as though they're backing up each other all the time. I'm hard pressed to see the people over there of Hebrew descent that I would think of as Hebrew descent, because they would be Browns.
Right.
I only see the ones of the European descent that's come from up there near Russia's country, Yugoslavia's and stuff. But Israel already bombed Syria a few years back on their nuclear power plant and stuff. Didn't make the news.
Nope, it didn't.
No. And they're not afraid to do that stuff.
Nope, they're not. So
But
Donald Trump has kind of wavered in his alliance with. Now remember, Obama, he was kind
playing
of
with him. Yeah.
Obama wasn't playing with him at all.
Yeah.
And everybody thought that when Trump came in office, he'd be buddy with them again. But it doesn't seem like we are too much, is it? Are we?
No, it doesn't seem like Trump is more on the NATO type of people like that. Like, obviously, he must be seeing more money can be made over this side than just staying over here with these people here. It's like, what are you giving me? Trump thinks as a businessman. You know, he negotiates law. What are you offering me?
Right.
What?
So when you don't see
Nothing.
right, and then when you don't see anything coming towards you like that, you tend to back out if you are a businessman esque.
Yeah, and Israel is like the West Bank. They weren't supposed to go in there building settlements and stuff under their own treaty agreements and stuff.
Mhm.
They're a couple of miles inside the West Bank now, building new settlements all the time. It's like, what are you going to do with those Palestinians that live in there?
Right.
And you know, we could hear it on the news and see it, but look, all those people over there, but when they see a Palestinian, you know, just because they got a different name on their national, they look alike.
Right. So.
You know, they're seeing their own faces.
But I think the reason why we're not talking about Israel as much is because they're not a threat. They're not really a threat to us.
Israel, they're
Yeah,
not threat to
right.
us.
The threats to us, I think, and you kind of disagree. I think North Korea and China. Now, do you see China? Yes, I see China as a threat. They're still putting their boats out there, talking about taking over islands and more lands.
Building.
That doesn't. Yeah, building islands.
Building islands.
Right. So you don't see. I don't. It's hard to not think of China and a lot of the rhetoric that's going on. It's been ramped up. The rhetoric has not been as big or as how it used to be. No?
No, yeah. China and Russia
Yep.
and the United States, they're the three big world powers. No doubt about it.
Right.
No doubt about it. Either one of those three countries can blow the whole world up in a matter of seconds. It doesn't make any difference. They're the three big powers. United States is the one that's playing on human rights issues and stuff like that.
Yep.
China don't care.
Right.
China said, I don't care. That's their life. Let them live it. I want all their minimal wealth and stuff.
Yep.
Russia's over there. Russia wants to expand their money. They got an oligarchy over there now. They're being run by billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's who's running Russia and stuff. It's not the old KGB that's out there running Russia and everything. They got a whole new way of doing business over there. And Putin, he's like a gangster out the 30s in some respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he gonna make all this here. It ain't about the money. It's about the power.
Yep.
And all those billionaires that's over there, it's all about the money for them. So you got a good mix, but it's a total less than 1% that's ruling all that country and everything. So you have to deal with them because they're backed up by their military, which can destroy the world in about 2 seconds.
Right.
And the United States, like I said, we're so engaged in human rights issues and all this kind of, so we've convinced ourselves that everybody has to be equal as soon as somebody else tells you that you're equal.
Yep.
It's like, why don't you just tell yourself you're equal and go ahead and go try to get yourself and manipulate yourself into this 1%, or at least the 10%, or maybe the 20%. Why wait for somebody else to say, oh, you're equal? Who cares?
Right.
You know? So these three countries with the power to destroy the world, their issues are all their agendas are all so different, but they're basically the same. It's all about power and wealth.
Right.
So they're not gonna jeopardize their agendas on a willy-nilly.
Right.
You know?
So do you think if we do launch an attack like we did in Syria against North Korea, do you think China would get involved?
China, no.
You don't think they would get involved?
I don't think China would. I think that we're the ones who saying that China is a friend and a foe of North Korea and stuff. I don't think North Korea has all that much to offer anybody over there. I really don't think that they have that much to offer.
Like what resources do they have, or what are they shipping out to other countries to make them?
I don't know. It's like, you know, this is what I'm basing it on. I don't think I think that my boys playing a game, and I think somebody got money. I don't know how they get that money to keep sending up these rockets and stuff. And eventually they're going to be having intercontinental missiles that can do this. And the next step after that, the next rational step after that is satellite space exploration and stuff like that. And you know, there's no money in trying to shoot a missile at the United States. What kind of nonsense is that?
Right. Yeah. They really. North Korea is erratic.
That's suicidal.
Right. I don't know why but they are so bent. But it just begs the question: why do they hate the U.S. so much? Is it because of the sanctions? Is it because North Korea probably wants control of South Korea?
That's what they wanted in the first place.
Okay, so that's what it is. They want control of South Korea, and the U.S. is like, that's not happening. You're not getting control of South Korea because we're allies of South Korea, and China.
South Korea's here, and there's China.
Right. Now, what does South Korea want? I know they just want to be free, but do they?
Are free. I think South Korea is a democratic kind of offshoot from a lot of the
United States?
Yeah, a lot of the policies in the Constitution and they follow the same track. And I think China, money-wise and stuff, they all want to have power and money. I don't think South Korea has any aspirations of being the big dog in that area over there.
Nope, I don't.
No,
Yeah.
You know, I don't see. They're kind of like Japan. Japan says, okay, I lost the war and everything. I won't have a military. You guys got to take care of me against all my enemies.
Right.
It's like, yeah. What's one of our biggest expenses in this whole country? Military.
Yep.
It's like they don't have that expense.
Well,
they can do all the kind of developments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
well,
it's all a game.
Right. So as of right now, U.S. is weighing their options on North Korea.
Please.
So you don't think they're doing anything?
I don't. I would be totally surprised. This be my surprise face.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You made the surprise face. Okay. And if they do, it will be another sanction.
I don't see what you're going to sanction them about.
But that's what they do. Every missile that North Korea has launched in the past since Donald Trump's been president, and even before Obama was doing it too. They launch a missile, getting sanctioned. Launch a missile. The U.S. is talking about more sanctions. Now U.S. officials meet to discuss response to North Korea's missile launch. Trump administration, national security, military, and diplomatic officials are holding an unexpected July 4th meeting. They talking today.
Yeah.
About what they're gonna. That sounds serious, Troop. It's 4th of July. People are supposed to be on vacation.
Yeah.
And they talking about what they're gonna do to North Korea. I think there might be a response.
I don't know what they could respond to it by. What do you tell this kid over there who's playing with all these missiles? What are you gonna tell him? Unless the United States says, I'm gonna come in there with all my forces and we're gonna take over this country. If they're not gonna do that, then all the talking, all the sanctions, it's meaningless.
Maybe they have a couple airstrikes that'll hit certain spots in North Korea.
But that's meaningless. If they hit those places in North Korea retaliates and hits South Korea.
Right. You're right.
You know, it's like you really can't do anything unless you're going to do it.
Right. And they have their missile defense systems up.
Yeah, we just built it for them.
Right. So,
yeah, it's like, what are you going to do? Call them a name? Pretty much. We're in the name calling now. That's what we do with us. Same with Syria. What are you going to do? Well, put sanctions on. You already got sanctions on it.
Yep, you do.
What else you going to do?
Right.
You know? Yeah, it's like, yeah. It's like, if you're not going to go in there and take over that country, and then you really don't have much to say. And they know that they can go in there and take it over. Except, how you going to feed the people that you take? You got refugee problems now. You don't know what to do with those? If you take over like Syria, the whole country, how you going to feed all those people? How you going to do health care for all those people? How you going to take care of that whole country?
Kind of like what they did with Iraq. Put someone in power there to run the country.
And what happened?
ISIS.
ISIS came in and said, I'm taking this thing over. Now they're spending all this money, all this stuff. United States is engaged with all this stuff again to get ISIS out. What's going to happen when ISIS gets out? Same thing. They ain't going anywhere.
Right.
They live there.
It's true.
You gotta take it over. You gotta have it, and you gotta have ownership from it. Except that they can't because it costs too much in monetary value. There's no winning. There's no winning by taking over any of those countries. And that's the only thing that they can do to stop all this stuff is take over those countries. And you know, they're stuck. They're
Right.
stuck. The world's stuck. Except for those three big powers, if they unite together, they can do this.
Yep.
That's scary.
But I don't think those three powers will come together for anything.
I don't know. If those three powers came together, they could take over all this stuff and affordably take care of these people and stuff.
Mhm.
China could take care of me easy. I don't care nothing about you.
Right,
I'll die. Okay. You know, Russia, I think all the monies and minimal wealth I can get. The poor United States, what's their agenda? Human rights issues.
Yep, that's it.
It's like, oh, you're hungry, oh, we gotta feed them. We can't feed the people over here.
Right.
It's rough. It's rough.
Well,
Let's talk too much.
no, that's okay. True. So we coming down to an end. Now, you said you already went on your not vacation. You went to a couple cookouts already for the
Yeah,
4th
the
of July.
cookout, yeah.
So you don't have any cookout on the plan on the agenda for today?
No, I'm just gonna do. I'm put on my Vietnam veteran shirt and I'm gonna go running in the woods.
Okay, so that's how you celebrate it?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little run. Take a little run because it's time to take a little run.
Yep, that's right. So
Yeah.
so today is business as usual, but you're just going to put on the shirt, help celebrate the birthday of this nation. We're good, bad, indifferent, good, bad, ugly. It's still the nation that we live in. It's still the freest nation in the world. And we have to, there's a place to talk about slavery. There's a time to talk about it.
There
There's
is.
a time to talk about injustice. There's a time to talk about police brutality. Today ain't the day.
That's not
Today, yep, today is the day we celebrate our country's independence from England.
And our country started to be born. You know, and when you're raising a child, as many parents know, you try to raise that child to the best of your understanding, and so that child grows up to be a good and powerful individual and they're prosperous and they have a happy life. Well, that's what the United States did, except that the child that grew up wasn't the child that they really wanted to grow up to.
Right. Well, Trip, you got 30 seconds. You want to give your shout outs?
I want to give a shout out to my lovely bride Laura. I want to give a shout out to my two scientists that are now, one's heavily going into science, another one, he's kind of going into acting and theater and stuff. He likes doing that. And I want to give a shout out to everybody in America to have a safe and happy, wonderful 4th of July. And all the special ops, I want to give them a big hood.
All right.
Yeah. Y'all had that fun.
Have that fun.
Yeah. That was patriotic.
91.3 FM, Worcester. I'll see you at Falcon Ridge.
Let's go to democracy now.
All right.
Yeah, I think that was pretty patriotic.
Yep. Tried. Did you get a little dicey for me there? I was
From Pacifica, this
running.
is
You
Democracy Now!
wanted to be right on.